Thank you very much, Mr. Mark, Ambassador Ranau, my good friend Hans Dieter, and Mr. Graham Grieve, who's visiting us from Munich, and friends of the Chamber. Thank you very much for inviting me to share some thoughts with you. I hope that the topic I picked for my remarks is not indigestible at lunch. But I've been thinking about the year 1989. 1989 is a very important year in world history. It was the year in which APEC was founded, and APEC is celebrating its 20th anniversary this year. It was the year in which a tragedy happened in Tiananmen Square in Beijing. And it was a year in which, on November 9, the infamous Berlin Wall fell. So I thought this afternoon I would just spend a few minutes to share with you some thoughts I have about the fall of the Berlin Wall, the end of the Cold War, and the impact this has had on Asia. In doing some research for this afternoon, I was surprised to find that many books have been written about the end of the Cold War and the impact on Europe, the impact on Europe-Russia relations, impact on America-Russia relations, but so far no book has been written on the impact of the end of the Cold War on Asia. So I thought this is an opportunity for me to share with you a possible outline of a possible book. So I'm going to test this on you. So my big message is that the end of the Cold War had a beneficial impact on Asia. And I have since my wife's not here, if my wife were here, I will be only allowed to make 3 points. But since she's not here, I'm going to give you 6 reasons why the end of the Cold War has had a beneficial impact on Asia. So here goes. First, if the Cold War had not ended, maybe the conflict in Cambodia would have lasted for several years longer. But when the Cold War ended, Vietnam lost its patron, the Soviet Union. Vietnam was also getting tired of its occupation of Cambodia because of the persistence of the Cambodian resistance and also because of the censure of the international community. So when the Cold War ended, when the Soviet Union disintegrated, our Vietnamese friends had to reconsider their options and their strategies. And I think they decided that it was time for them to seek an honorable exit from Cambodia. And here I want to introduce my good friend and colleague Lawrence Anderson. Ambassador Anderson, who was our former ambassador to Cambodia, is the director at the Foreign Ministry in charge of Europe. As a young man on honeymoon, he was a member of my team in Washington. And Lawrence and I worked very hard for many years to find a peaceful resolution to the conflict in Cambodia. In 1989, all the stakeholders met in Paris at a conference, but 89 was a little too early and we didn't clinch an agreement. But we went back to Paris 2 years later in 1991, and in 1991, the international community arrived at a negotiated settlement to bring the conflict in Cambodia to an end and to give Cambodia a new lease of life. And I'm happy to say that Cambodia is today a peaceful and stable country that is working hard to repair all the damages of war and conflict and to build a new economy. So that's one positive outcome of the end of the Cold War.